This is the best moments of the Barbecue Central show in 10 minutes or less. Ever wish you could re-listen to your favorite interview or segment? Do you enjoy hearing older shows for the first time in years? Then the best moments of the Barbecue Central show in 10 minutes or less is just what you need. Thanks for listening and enjoy the show.
Yes, thank you so much for listening. I'm John Solberg, your host for the best moments of the Barbecue Central show in 10 minutes or less. And I want to tell you, today's episode is being brought to you by The Butcher Shop, purveyors of highly sought after 100% Australian non-crossbred Wylara 9 Plus briskets. And as always, they're going to handpick them just for you. The Butcher Shop has been retailing the finest meats for the past 15 years. Every week, they are shipping out competition-quality meats to some of the biggest teams in the competition scene across the nation. Simply put, teams who use The Butcher Shop win, and they win often. Not a competitor, but still have an eye for the finer cuts? Great news, The Butcher Shop is shipping some of the finest prime, dry-aged, Australian Wagyu, and Japanese Wagyu steaks to people just like you and me who aspire to be the kings and queens of their cul-de-sacs. The Butcher Shop always has Berkshire, Compart Duroc, Allegiance Duroc, Prairie Fresh all-natural pork in stock, and again, it's always handpicked just for you. Now you might be saying, John, all that sounds great, but what about some exotic stuff? Well, rest easy knowing the Butcher Shop will get you your next elk steak or camel roast. They're going to ship it out promptly. Yes, they're going to ship you camel. So let's review the best competition briskets. Check. The best pork selection. Check. Giving you a better overall option to cook at home. Check. So give the Butcher Shop a call today, 850-458-8782, 850-458-8782. Mention the Barbecue Central show for 10% off your entire order each and every time. You can also interact with them on Facebook, facebook.com/The Butcher Shop. Shop is spelled S-H-O-P-P-E. The Butcher Shop, home of the 100% non-crossbred Wylara 9 Plus briskets. And here's what's going on in today's show from May in 2015. Greg's going to catch up with Levi Bouska, who is right on the edge of opening a barbecue stand. Let's check this out.
Big stuff out of here.
Let me tell you what people know about right now. The newest guest into the Barbecue Central show stable, he is Levi Bouska. Levi, brother, how are you?
Pretty good, man. How are you?
Doing absolutely fabulous, Levi. I appreciate you making time for the show tonight. And so I want to have you on. I mean, I'm a big fan of yours on the Instagram, and I just like, I don't take really good pictures, but I appreciate people that take and know how to take really good pictures, and you do that very well. So I really like following you on the social media stuff. Just see your pictures. I mean,
Thanks, man.
Stalk around on your personal life, love that too. But the picture's really, the thing I like the most. So
my girlfriend always hounds me about that because we can't go anywhere without me taking a picture of my food somewhere or doing something.
That's like inherent with the whole barbecue culture, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Got to take pictures of everything that's about ready to go in your pie hole. So you've gotten into what I call the biz of barbecue. And look, I mean, from the guy like me who's just a backyard guy and likes to kind of pal around with these pit masters and so forth in the competition scene and in the restaurant world, if you're halfway decent at it, people are always like, oh, your barbecue is so good. You should start a restaurant. But it's like one of the most riskiest things to do in the world ever. However, if you do it right and you have a good plan, it can be done very successfully and perhaps, grown out. So I figured, hey, you have the Butcher BBQ Stand. Is it open, like officially open yet?
Saturday at 11 o'clock.
This Saturday or like a couple days ago?
Yeah, this Saturday, May 16th at 11 a.m. We open the doors.
All right, so we are literally hours and days away from getting this thing down. So, all right, so let's dig at it from this fashion. Like, where are you like, hey, let's open Butcher BBQ Stand? Got to do that.
So are you asking how did I come up with it or what?
Yeah, like when like how long have you been marinating on that?
Well, it was about a year ago. Me and my dad decided we were going to do a catering thing, and that kind of fell through. And we were cutting meat one day, and I looked at him. I was like, I want to open up a restaurant. And then we started just kind of talking about it. And then one thing led to another, and I was like, hey, let's do a barbecue stand, not a full-blown restaurant and a sit-down place. Let's not do that. And try and do it a little bit cheaper. And so we just went with the barbecue stand. He's like, do you want to do it? He's like, I have full faith in you. And there it went, literally. I grew up in a barbecue restaurant, so when I was 5, my grandparents bought a restaurant. I lived in it until I was 17 when it burned down, and so I've kind of been around it my whole life.
So what have you done? So since you were both, you and Dave were like, hey, okay, good, let's get this thing going. What have you had to put into place, buy, order, get set up to eventually lead up to the big open coming up on Saturday?
We have to buy everything. What have we not bought? That's probably the easier thing. Man, it's actually at an old Connex, which is like the reefer units that they send on ships that you see stacked up a mile high. They put on ships. That's literally what it is. It's a 40-foot long Connex. It's a fully insulated building. We just bought a non-working unit. We built walls in it. We drew pictures on a piece of notebook paper, and we're like, hey, we could do this and do that. And our meat shop, the meat processing plant, has 3 of those Connexes put together. So we were able to walk around it and go, man, we could put a prep table here. We could do this. We could kind of lay it out and actually be in exactly what we were going to be putting it in. And it just really grew from there. I went to the city and had one shipped, and then all hell broke loose from there, man. It just kind of built on from there. 8 months, literally. I looked the other night at my receipt, and it was delivered on the 18th, 8 months ago, and we're opening up on the 16th. So, what kind of
a menu? Well, let me say this. This is just my personal outsider looking at. If I was ever going to do a restaurant, like this is like the perfect idea. No full-blown restaurant. I think that is a very difficult way to make a successful restaurant, depending on where you're at. I mean, in Cleveland, I would, lose my shirt. But why not have something people walk up? Looks like from some of the other pictures I saw, you have like some picnic tables and some other seating available out there. But no waitresses and no overhead lights and all this other overhead that's just going to kind of eat into that bottom line right off the top. So that's kind of like I would love to do that kind of a thing. But as far as menu is concerned, how extensive or how basic, perhaps, are you sticking with it right off of the outset?
I wouldn't say it's basic, but it's not basic because we're really, truly going to take the competition style and make it public and just kind of feed people like that. But I mean, I do a smoked hamburger, and so we're gonna do that. It's a half-pound smoked cheeseburger, but it's 60% beef and 40% ground bacon inside the patty. So it's a half-pound patty with bacon already in it. We'll smoke that. It takes about an hour and a half. We'll hold it in brisket au jus, and we'll do. That's kind of different. I've been in these kind of things, but they're called chick nuggets. I'm taking smoked boneless chicken breasts. I'll cube them up, and then we hold them in our sauce with more brown sugar and put them back in the smoker, and those caramelize today. And you can order those by the pound or in a sandwich and that kind of stuff. Dessert is Twinkies, literally just Twinkies. I thought that was kind of cool. Everybody loves Twinkies. But there's nothing too crazy. I mean, it's barbecue. That's what it is. If it can't be cooked in the smoker, we aren't cooking it. There's no ovens. There's no fryolators. There's none of that. There's a Cook Shack FEC 750.
Oh,
that's it.
That's a big boy. 750 hold a lot of meat now.
Yep.
Do you have, I would imagine, some really good meat purveyor contacts, given the fact that of the industry contacts that you already kind of have and are related to?
Well, it kind of helped. We're buying through U.S. Foods, and so we contact the girl, and so she comes out to the meat shop, and my dad just starts spitting questions at her. She's like, "Let me send my meat guy out." And so they send their meat guy out, and they have a heyday for an hour and a half, and he's a big tab guy, and that was kind of funny, and they had their talks, and they respected each other by the end of the day, and he thought it was really neat that somebody else could talk to him the way that he could talk to him. So they understand what they're getting into on our end with the butcher background that we can call them. And I got my first truck today, for instance, and they sent us 160 frozen slabs of St. Louis's, and we put them back on the truck and sent them back. And I called them, I was like, "Hey, we can't cook frozen ribs, and we're not going to." And so now we have more ribs coming tomorrow, fresh spare ribs ready to cut, but they're making it happen for us next week. They're going to have them pre-sliced for St. Louis and everything. So
it helps. Did you go out into your marketplace? I mean, I'm sure you figure out where you're going to plant the stand, and then you take whatever kind of a radius you're looking at and doing business with. Did you go out and kind of poll and get some instant feedback on what people might be, or what might attract them more to your barbecue stand or place of business than they would be going anywhere else?
Find out what Levi had to say over at the bbqcentralshow.com. Link in today's show notes will take you to the complete episode. It's always interesting. People opening restaurants, barbecue stands. It's just good stuff. Good information. Always good. Never outdated. While you're over on the internet, give The Butcher Shop a look on their Facebook page, facebook.com/The Butcher Shop. Shop is spelled SHOPPE. And until next time on the best moments of the Barbecue Central Show in 10 minutes or less, I'm your host, John Solberg. I look forward to talking to you again soon.